So, Rach, whatever happens, this Christmas is going to be a very different proposition for many people. We don't really know what's going to be happening. How do you think people are going to cope with this sort of, different in, their own traditions?
I think the uncertainty is going to be very tricky, actually. As you say, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know that we will know for some time. So I think to think that it is going to be normal would be the wrong thing to do. That won't help.
Instead of stressing out and trying to get halfway across the country with a car full of, presents, dogs, family, whatever, you can actually, make a pledge to meet each other at a certain time, when we're out of lockdown, when it's less busy, and just reflect on, what it really means to spend time with each other, not because it's a day that tradition says we have to spend together. I mean, take the stress off and actually just enjoy being together.
Yeah, and being in the moment. I know it's, again, actually really appreciating what you've got rather than just being incredibly busy, dashing around the place, ticking people off, actually taking time. I mean, I know quite a few lovely, wonderful people who get through Christmas and then get ill because of the pressure on them. And that seems such a shame. So maybe just by slowing down a bit, doing less. A very good friend of mine, his mantra in life is smile, breathe, and go slow. And it makes me smile when he tells me to smile anyway. But I think there's a lot in that, and that does make it enables you actually to be in the moment rather than worrying about what happened last year that you can't do, or worrying about something in the future. Actually, during this period, keeping it simple and really appreciating what you've got.
Yeah, so we can't talk about Christmas without talking about food. And I don't know if you know this, as a psychologist, you probably do, but do you know that we make over 200 decisions about food every day, and we're only conscious of about 10% of them?
I didn't know those figures, but I'm not surprised. And well, why not really? It's one of the loveliest pleasures, and sharing it, which again, we might not be able to do, but with as many people as we want to, but actually doing something special and different. But it might not be what we did last year. Again, if we're looking at kind of challenging almost everything we do on that day to see if it's what we really want to do, I think people might be cooking more, which would be lovely, rather than just buying things off the shelf.
Yes, absolutely.
Which would be great. And yes, I think that would be a lovely idea to encourage people to try new things.
Yeah, and since we're not really going to the shops that much, you can resist the aisle that's right at eye level, sort of with all those mince pies. And my friend Jeff Ho, who you might remember, he told me he was in the supermarket the other day, grabbed a packet of mince pies and ate them. He said, I don't know why I bought them. I don't even like mince pies, but I think it was just that whole kind of, oh, they're there, better get them.
It's Christmas, and it's all those great boxes and tins of sweets as well, isn't it? Where anyone only likes one of them and you buy the whole lot, and they all eat what the favourite one gets eaten and the rest is left there. And actually, you wouldn't eat them at any other time of year. So why on earth are you eating them at Christmas? It's strange, isn't it? So again, it's kind of challenging those. We always get that box of sweets or biscuits, and none of us actually like it. Where did that come from? We don't need to do it this year.
I know, and I've on that note, for years I've said to my mum, let's not have sprouts. No one wants sprouts. Oh, but your dad loves them. So, like a table of 14 has to have sprouts because one person likes it, and then somebody else likes that. And so you have this sort of, and it is stressful if you approach it that way.
Yeah, I think it's good to just have a quick discussion with everyone beforehand. Your dad might not like sprouts. He's just been saying yes for years just to please your mum. Yeah, I've heard that one before now, that people, be careful what you say you like, and you might get it all the time. But again, less is more. You don't need to have a table with one of millions of things. Yeah, let's find out what people really like and just make that.
What will Christmas be looking like for you this year? Quite different again, I suppose.
Well, it's all changed here, yes, because we're about to move. So we will be in a new place where we don't know anybody. So it will be just the two of us, but that's okay. We'll keep it simple. We'll definitely go for a long walk. And I'm not sure about the food yet, but that's an interesting challenge. Maybe we'll have a chat about that later and definitely do something different, yes.
And then I think one of my key things is get everyone involved. Everyone should have a part to play, whether it's just the peeling of potatoes, the laying of the table, so that it's not all just down to one person, because that is stressful.
Yeah, and people actually have probably been wanting to be asked anyway, but felt that wasn't their domain. And actually by getting involved, you're right, it just makes it more fun. We're all up and doing something and then all come together, be it physically together or remotely this year. But yes, everyone has a part to play.
Can you tell me then, some people actually find it very difficult to ask for help and sort of, as you said, run around looking flustered and while everyone else is in another room sort of swigging, the sherry or whatever. How would you recommend people sort of nicely ask for help?
I think to do it on the day is quite tricky. I think to think about it in advance. I think when you are right in the thick of it and you're juggling whatever it is, that point's not a good idea. So I think it is sitting down beforehand and working out what were the stress elements last year. And then maybe getting other people involved in asking those questions as well. So again, even the asking isn't down to one person. So you might ask your sister to ask your mum or do it in a different way like that. So it isn't all coming from one person. Unless they feel comfortable with it, in which case they can go ahead. But even sharing out the asking, I think would be a good idea.
No, that's absolutely true. I think it's not always easy in the heat of the moment, and just set the expectations.
Yeah, manage expectations. Thinking before it all happens to you is always a good idea. So take a bit of time out to think about what's going to happen to avoid that automatic pilot we talked about at the beginning.
So what would your ideal Christmas look like?
I do like it quiet, actually. I think the other thing I was thinking about earlier is really having a tech detox. It's actually, you might need to make some phone calls or in contact with people, but on the whole, turn off the tech, turn off the laptop, get away from that. And be quite quiet, really. I love being outside. I don't really mind what the weather's like. With the appropriate clothing on, it can always be enjoyable. So I think it's good to get outside as much as we can and appreciate what we have around us rather than just getting stuck inside all day long. So yes, plenty of time outside, some interesting food and drink, maybe not too much so you don't feel too groggy later on. Maybe a movie, but actually I wouldn't watch movies at other times. So I think maybe just keep the day really quite simple.
Well, Rachel, looks like you've got everything sorted. Here's wishing you a very happy and simple Christmas.
Thank you, Heather. Merry Christmas to you and your family as well.